All right. So if you're new to meditation, it isn't something that needs to be scary or, um, yeah. Meditation doesn't have to be something that's scary. You don't have to be religious or deeply spiritual. Meditation is simply a moment to be. It's just kind of taking a moment to step back from the everyday thinking, from the everyday doing, and just simply breathing. Breathing intentionally, being right here in this moment. And you can't do it wrong. So, like if you're sitting in meditation and you have your eyes closed and you're focusing on your breath, but then thoughts come in, that's okay. That's a part of meditation. We can't eliminate thoughts, but we can notice thoughts. And again, that's the whole point of meditation, noticing your experience right here without trying to change it, without trying to make it go away, without judging it, just simply noticing what is happening right now. And this already begins one of the techniques, one of the tools that you can apply into your life when you're feeling a sense of dis-ease, a sense of anxiety, sense of discomfort, overwhelm. You can always turn to this as one of your practices. So we can kind of begin just letting yourself settle into your body, letting yourself settle into wherever you are. And just gently reminding yourself that where you are right now, in this moment, right here, you are safe. And just reminding yourself that you have 100% permission to be here, to breathe, to be. So just allowing your body to relax to the best of your ability. Allowing the energy to settle down. And so just relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your jaw, relaxing your belly. Remembering to breathe. And so you can even direct your attention to your breath. So just noticing, right, how your breath moves in and how your breath moves out. So as you breathe in, the air comes in through your nose, into your body. And as you breathe out, air leaves your nose or your mouth. And just see if you can witness your breath. And so just gently watching as the breath comes in and gently watching as the breath leaves. Simply breathing in and out. And perhaps inviting your breath to get a little deeper, a little longer. As you breathe in Breathe in deep into your belly. And breathe out from your belly. The deeper and the longer your breaths get, the more relaxed and calm you become. And so deep breath into your belly. And breathe out from your belly. And if you feel called, you can even let out a big sigh on the out breath, whatever feels good for you. Breathing in. Breathing out. Knowing that in any moment you have the power, you have the capacity, the ability to calm your nervous system down by simply coming back to yourself and breathing, taking deep, long breaths. And just thinking of your intention, thinking of your reason as to why you are here. The first step was getting here. Just considering what would you like to receive from this experience. And just feeling that with your heart, with your belly, with your whole body. Now we can gently allow ourselves to come back into the space. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay. Thank you for that. So meditation is one form or one technique that we can use to help us with anxiety. And it does that because when we focus in on something like our breath, it takes the attention away from what's happening with the anxiety. So usually when we have anxiety, there's thoughts that are tied in with the anxiety. And so meditation takes us away from those thoughts and into a state that allows us to feel more calm. But I'll discuss that more as we move into this workshop. So when I was preparing and planning for this workshop, I thought, what do I want to do? Do I want to do a PowerPoint? Do I just want to share from my heart? And what I came to was, I'm going to share from my heart. I did write notes so that I can keep myself focused and aligned. But so there won't be a PowerPoint per se. But for the first couple of things that I want to share, I have something in my photos. So they'll be half and half, like a hybrid, I suppose. So first things first, what is anxiety? And I wrote awareness here because awareness is the first step into healing, into achieving a goal, into experiencing something new. There needs to be a level of awareness. And so that is the first step into developing a different relationship with anxiety is awareness. What is anxiety? What is this thing that I always feel in my body? Why does my heart race all the time? Why do I feel sweaty and like an elephant is on my chest? Why is this happening? What is this? So anxiety, as I wrote here, is a continuum. So it's really wide. You can go really severe anxiety, or you can have very mild anxiety. There's different levels of anxiety. And so the higher our anxiety is, the lower level we are in being able to function. But anxiety is normal. Anxiety is it's a healthy life force that it's necessary for survival. We can't get rid of anxiety, nor would we want to. Because when we have anxiety, it motivates us to take action. But it doesn't mean that it's motivating us to, get a new job or to start that new thing that we want to do. But it's motivating us to take action. And so if you notice, if you ever feel anxious, what do? There's something that you do afterwards. Right? You probably distract yourself or whatever it is that you do when you have anxiety, that is your anxiety motivating you to do something, to take action. So again, this is kind of why I asked that question on Facebook the other day. What is the best thing about anxiety? Because again, anxiety is not a bad thing. Anxiety helps us. Anxiety motivates us. And so an example would be if you're at a grocery store and let's say somebody comes in with a gun, right? Anxiety is going to come up in your body and it's going to want you to move quickly to escape what's happening. You want to get away from this danger. You don't want to get shot, right? So the anxiety that so many of us don't want just helped us in this situation. Right? The anxiety experience in this situation helped us to run away quickly and efficiently because our mind perceived danger. It doesn't matter if the danger is real or if you're just making the danger up because that's how you're perceiving the situation. You're like, this is dangerous, right? No matter if it's real or it's not real, your body activates. There's this thing called flight or fight. And that's what our body goes through when it's perceiving danger. Even if it's real, even if it's not real, the body wants to save you. And so it doesn't care if it's fake. It's like, all right, heart rate up, pressure up, eyeballs get really wide because you need to make sure you see everything that's happening. And, the body goes into that state of anxiety because you got to get away from danger or fight the danger. And so if we didn't have anxiety, if our body did not alert us that something is wrong, then our chances of survival diminishes, it reduces because we're not going to want to save ourselves when something threatening happens. We're not going to feel called. Someone just came in. Okay. So happy she got in. That is good news. All right, I'm just gonna mute you, Hannah. Thank you so much for being here. Um, I just want to say that I am recording this too, so you'll get the first part that you missed on the recording. Um, but right now we're talking about why we experience anxiety. And essentially, to sum up what I was just saying, we experience anxiety as a way to save us when we're in danger, even if we're not really in danger, even if we just think we are. The body activates so that you can either fight what's in front of you or run away from what's in front of you. But different situations, different circumstances in our life that we go through impacts the way we experience anxiety. So whereas the one person may experience anxiety very mild when they need to, essentially, like when they're actually in danger, um, when they need it to help them. And then there are other people who experience anxiety for everything. And the reasons why this happens is because of situations such as childhood, right? That we've went through some difficult situations, um, going through stress and trauma when you're very young is likely to have a really big impact. Physical or emotional abuse, neglect, losing a parent, being bullied, being socially isolated. Maybe you experience racism in childhood. These things can contribute to problems with anxiety in the future, especially if during the times of difficulty when we were a child, if we didn't have the right resources, if we weren't taught, hey, it's okay, or hey, you can breathe, you know, and all the other tools and techniques that we have available to us. A lot of us weren't offered those tools. And so we had to deal with the difficult situations during childhood to the best that we can. And a lot of it wasn't truly helpful for us, but it worked at the time. Also, having parents who didn't treat you warmly or who were maybe overprotective, that can also be a factor as to why we have anxiety problems today. Another reason why we struggle with anxiety could be because of the current problems in our life now, currently. And these are some examples that I came up with, like exhaustion, or maybe you just have a buildup of stress from childhood up until this point. Maybe there's a lot of change happening in your life or uncertainty. I mean, we just went through 2020. That set us like, whoa, right? That was different. That was very uncertain, very scary. And here we are 3 years later, still going through shit. Now there's like monkeypox, you know, there's so many things happening, lots of changes, lots of uncertainty. And maybe feeling under pressure at work or at home. Maybe you're working long hours. Maybe you don't have work. Maybe you have money problems. You're homeless. Or maybe you have a home, but you can't really afford the bills. Maybe you have constant worry about the environment or natural disasters. Maybe you lost someone that's close to you and you can't seem to get over that. Not over that, but like you can't seem to move through that. Maybe currently you're feeling lonely or isolated. Maybe you're being abused currently, bullied, harassed. These things that are happening in our life currently can contribute to our levels of anxiety. Someone else just came in.
I do have to exit out, but I want to tell you something. You're doing an excellent job and you're very helpful. And I will definitely watch the rest of this recording. God bless you.
Yes, God bless you. Yes. Hi, Lauren. Thank you for being here. So now what we're kind of covering is just some more information on anxiety, right? To have a well-rounded understanding as to what this thing is that we call anxiety. Because if we don't know what anxiety is, if we don't know why anxiety comes up in the body, then how are we ever going to shift our relationship with anxiety? It's so important that we have awareness as to what this is. So, like I put up here, there are levels to this when it comes to anxiety. Right? And so for starters, I put this two right here. There's an acute anxiety and there's chronic anxiety. Right? So sometimes we experience anxiety if maybe we experience a sudden loss or a sudden change that threatens our sense of well-being, our sense of security. Right? So COVID it's a beautiful example. When that hit and we were all like kind of stuck at home, and it was very weird, very new, very different, very scary, very sudden. And that could have potentially threatened our sense of security, inducing a certain level of anxiety, which is normal, right? And then there's chronic levels of anxiety. And this is the kind of anxiety that develops over time, usually starting in childhood. And when you're an adult and you have a chronic level of anxiety, you might display physical symptoms, right? So you might feel more tired, you might experience frequent headaches, stomach issues, memory loss, self-isolation. That's not really physical, but the point is, over time, when you don't deal with what's happening in your body, i.e. anxiety, when you're experiencing anxiety, over time, the physical sensations, the physical symptoms that you experience from anxiety, they start to wear you down. And it reduces your quality of life because you've allowed your anxiety to run rampant all your life without addressing it, without understanding it, without nurturing it. Just kind of moving this over here. All right. And just to continue deepening our understanding of anxiety, right? Because like I mentioned before, there are levels to this. Right? So we have anxiety. We have mild anxiety, which is again like that restlessness feeling when maybe we have an exam coming up, right? Or something important like an important event and we got some anxiety, right? That's going to motivate us to kind of get the thing done. Might feel a little irritable, right? Mild anxiety is something that's very common, very normal, but it's when we leave this type of anxiety alone and we don't do anything to address it, Like maybe we experience this anxiety, but we're like, oh my God, I gotta distract myself. I can't do this, I can't do this. Right? Doing that over time can lead to more severe mental conditions. Then we have moderate anxiety. This is when we feel things like we're feeling on edge often. We're unable to control our sense of worry. We're constantly thinking about the future. We can't really relax. For many days we can't relax. Majority of the days, most days, we're just on edge. We gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta go. I'm overthinking. I gotta do things. That's moderate levels of anxiety, which can lead to severe anxiety, which is intensely debilitating. And this also meets the criteria for an anxiety disorder. People with severe anxiety, they have an inability to function. They have realistic or ritualistic behavior, meaning whenever they experience anxiety, they do what they do best ritually, which is distract themselves, avoid the problem, what's happening, or whatever it is that's considerably maladaptive, that's not serving you. Severe anxiety can also coexist with major depression. So when someone struggles with severe anxiety, what they're experiencing often is that increased heart rate, that feeling of panic and doom, and typically tend to socially withdraw. So again, I'm sharing this to give a very basic and fundamental understanding as to what is anxiety, right? So anxiety is a thing that we experience to create safety. And there's different levels of anxiety that we can experience. There's the anxiety that helps us and motivates us. And there's the anxiety that's debilitating and reduces our quality of life. And there's a way to meet our anxiety in the middle. And that's what this workshop's about. And so now this is the part, right? Because I briefly wanted to share that with you. Now I want to share the good stuff, which are like the tips, the practices, the techniques that you can practice right now if you're experiencing anxiety. These are practices and techniques that you can use every time, anytime. They don't expire. You can use these. And so these are ways to manage anxiety. I also want to note too that these practices that I'm going to share will support you when you're experiencing mild to moderate anxiety. So like it hasn't really gotten to that point yet. Like you kind of know how to maintain yourself a little bit, but not to the point where you're like, I can do this on my own. Right? So these are when you take these tools that I'm offering to you today and you apply it into your life. For more severe cases of anxiety, where it's like typically, mostly, it's out of control, you have panic attacks often, severe anxiety often, what would assist for that would be more about what I'm offering here today, as well as therapy, medication, or a combination of both. Because when it gets to a point where it's so severe that it's uncontrollable, these practices and tools and techniques that I'm offering today, yes, they will help, but you need more than just these practices and tools. You need therapy and medication to further assist you in healing through whatever it is that you're moving through. So the first practice that can assist us, all of us, in dealing with anxiety is what they call cognitive behavioral therapy. That's like what therapists use. But like the most simpler word for that is reframing your thoughts. Reframing your thoughts. And so that's a way to look at irrational thoughts that are running through our mind and shifting it to a more realistic thought, something that may be more positive. So the goal here in reframing your thoughts is to identify the negative thought that's running through your mind, that's producing the feelings of anxiety. You want to examine that. You want to get very curious about what you're thinking and what is creating this anxiety without judging it, just being very curious as to what's occurring. Once you can identify the cause of the anxiety, you can reframe it into something that's more positive. An example, if I'm sitting here and my thoughts are like, oh my God, you still didn't wash your clothes, you still have so much homework to do, you have to study, your exam is Friday, oh my God, did you check the, whatever it is, right? And all these thoughts are running through my mind, and now my heart's like racing, and I'm like, oh my God, my legs are like shaking, and I'm just like feeling the anxiety. This is a perfect moment for me to check in. What's happening? All right, all these thoughts are kicking in right now. Oh my God, homework, laundry, all this crap. All right, I see what's happening. I see what's happening. I'm examining it with curiosity. I'm not judging it. I'm not saying, why the fuck are you thinking this? Like, stop. Like, I'm just, I see that. I see what's happening. And now I'm going to shift it. I'm going to reframe it. Yeah, I understand that I got to do all that stuff still, but right now, right here, I'm doing this. And this is what's important for me right now. Those things are still going to be there. When I'm done with this, I can start working towards achieving whatever it is my mind thinks is important and that I need to get to right now. I can reframe that. I have that power, and so do you. You have that power. That's what they call free will, your ability to respond to what's happening in your life. You may not know why it's happening, right? But you have the ability to respond. You have the ability to reframe what you're going through. Another thing that we can do to help us alleviate anxiety, meditation. If you came into the workshop a little bit later, you can watch the replay. We started off with a meditation practice. And again, this is something that we can use as a tool, simply as a tool to help us with anxiety. Because what meditation does, it allows us to be here with whatever is happening without judging it, without trying to make it go away, without letting it consume us. With meditation, we allow ourselves to sit. We don't even have to sit. We could stand. We could do it anywhere. but it's simply taking a moment to notice what is happening right here, right now. Meditation could be something that lasts for 2 minutes. You could take a 2-minute breathing break. Whereas you're like, whoa, 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 I need to check in because something is not right now. I'm feeling all over the place. And before I get worse, before I lash out on somebody, before I freak the fuck out, let me take 2 minutes to check in, also known as meditation. 2 minutes is all we need. We can do that by escaping to a bathroom nearby, running to our car, going into our room. 2 minutes to check in, to breathe. We don't even have to solve the situation. Let's say like we notice we're feeling a little overwhelmed, a little scattered, and you know yourself best, right? You know when the anxiety is starting to come in. Before it gets to that level where it's unbearable, where you're like full blown, I'm anxious as fuck and I can't do this. Before you get to that point, you can utilize this technique, right? Of checking in, 2 minutes to breathe. You don't have to solve the situation. You don't have to figure out what's happening, but you can identify that this is it. And I know that I can use meditation or breathing, right, to get through this, to calm me down right here, right now. Another thing that is effective in helping us with anxiety, and excuse my dogs, they're so rude, is rest. You know, the basic, when you think of the hierarchy of needs, the very basic, fundamental human thing that we need, at least one of those things is rest. How much rest are you getting? Do you sleep often? Is your sleep impacted or affected? What is your sleep like? Because there's a clear connection between anxiety and sleep problems. You know, so sometimes sleep problems can lead to increased anxiety. So either way, getting better sleep, getting restful sleep can help to alleviate anxiety. Even if we're taking naps throughout our day, just really assessing our level of wakefulness. How alert and present are we? Are we groggy? Do we, like, you know yourself best. Do you feel in your heart of hearts that you can use a little bit more sleep? And how can you apply that into your life more readily? How can you offer yourself more moments of restfulness? Another very basic human fundamental need is hydration. How hydrated are you? You know, these are, they may sound like, oh, okay, I heard this before. You know, somebody already said this. Like, I get it. I gotta drink water. I gotta sleep. But truly, deeply, honestly, how much of that do you apply into your life? And so right now, when it comes to staying hydrated, how hydrated are you? You know, lack of water, even if it's just relatively small amounts, can impact our bodies drastically. Our body is made up of 60 to 70% water. And so if we're not drinking water, where is it coming from? Right? So when we don't have water, our cells can't function to the best that it can. And so it brings down our energy and increases our levels of anxiety. Right? Because the heart needs to pump harder now because it's like there's no water. So I got to figure it out somehow. So the heart is going to pump, pump, pump. Like we got to get the blood through, and your body is just going to go into an overactivation. Staying hydrated involves drinking water. So it's not about drinking soda or coffee or alcohol that dehydrates you. I mean, I'm an avid coffee drinker. I drink lots of coffee, but I have awareness. I understand that this coffee isn't hydrating me, right? And so I need to supplement that with water at some point throughout my day. Water is so important. Staying hydrated is so important. Diet, right? Again, very basic human fundamental need is like, what are you consuming? What are you eating? Now, this doesn't mean that if you struggle with anxiety, that now you got to go change your whole diet, right? You got to go start eating fucking healthy foods and stuff. It's just awareness. What are you eating on a daily basis? What do you put in your body? And this isn't just food. Right? What are you consuming on a daily basis? Right? What's on your news feed on social media? What TV shows are you watching? What music are you listening to? Who are your friends? Who are the people that are in your life that are talking and you're consuming all that into your mind, right? So what are you consuming? Awareness as to that is so important too, because you can assess your situation. I eat a lot of McDonald's. The people in my life pretty much suck. Like they don't have my best interest. They all party and drink and they have no goals and no motivation. I watch a lot of gory shows on Netflix. What is this? I watch a lot of gory shows on Netflix, like Squid Games and whatever that other show on Netflix is. It's like crazy, So like if you start doing that, you're like, huh, huh. Right? So just being more aware of what are you consuming. In the Facebook event group, I'll share more about different types of foods that you can implement into your diet if you feel called to. Because I have a whole list here of different kinds of vitamins and nutrients and foods that, if not already, you can add it into your diet. I mean, that's not going to heal or cure your anxiety, but it will help if you're not getting these on a regular basis. I think I said it already, but breathing exercises, right? Breathing exercises allows us to decrease the rapid heart rate, the rapid breathing, and it promotes relaxation. We have 2 people here showing up. Hello, I'm just going to mute you. Thank you for being here. Let's wait till they log in. Seems like their connection is off. Okay, so just waiting for this next person to establish a network connection. All right, cool. I'm gonna put you on mute. Thank you for being here. Oh, okay, awesome, awesome. And for the other person that just joined, I just want to share that this is being recorded. And so to get the first part that you missed, you can access the recording on the event page on my Facebook. And right now, going through the portion of this workshop where I'm sharing different practices, different techniques, different tools that you can implement integrate into your own life so that you can have these tools for when you experience something like anxiety. You can tap right in and grab these tools and you can use them anytime, every time, all the time. Another tool that is highly effective is progressive muscle relaxation, which in other words is body scan. And so you can do this in less than 5 minutes, connecting to your body, right? So scanning through quickly, maybe starting from your toes and working your way up to your head. And so just scanning, just quite literally scanning, noticing your toes. Right? You can even do this now, right? Noticing your feet. And if there's any tension in this noticing, in this moment of connecting to your body, if you notice that something within your body feels tense when you get there, you can relax it. You can soothe it just by simply being attentive to what is happening, right? And so just continuing to work your way up, just noticing your legs, your kneecaps, noticing your thighs. Do you feel any restriction, any tension in your thighs? Perhaps you can breathe into your thighs if you do, right? And bring some sense of relaxation there. Scanning your hips, scanning your belly, scanning your chest, your shoulders. Do your shoulders feel tense? And can you invite a sense of relaxation there? Noticing your neck, your jaw, the muscles behind your eyes, the muscles within your forehead. Just scanning through your body, noticing in any areas that may feel tense, restricted, and inviting more ease, inviting relaxation. With your mere intention, with your awareness, you can create this for yourself. You can invite this energy in. This doesn't have to be done in the heat of an anxiety attack, because nor will it work. Because when you're experiencing a panic attack or an anxiety attack, you can't think straight, right? Your heart's racing, your blood is pumping, your sense of perception diminishes. And so to think that you're gonna go take a 5-minute breathing check-in or right, something like that, yeah, right. That's not realistically, that's not going to happen. These practices are gonna aid you when you practice it consistently, not every single day, right? But consistently where it becomes a habit. And so like with meditation, starting with 2 minutes, scanning your body quickly and without so much like, oh my God, I got to do it this way, or I'm probably doing it wrong. No, you're not. You're attuning to your body. You're noticing your body and you're inviting relaxation to any areas of your body that feel tense. Even if it's just a quick check-in from right here up. How are your shoulders? How's your jaw? How's the forehead? Can I breathe into these spaces? Progressively relaxing your body, connecting to your body. Another tool is visualization. It's something I use often. I'm big on imagination. I love just tapping in, playing with life, playing with my mind. And so visualization is another technique. So like maybe you're experiencing something and you're kind of noticing within yourself, you're like, I'm feeling it, I'm getting there. Visualize something that offers you a sense of peace. What brings you happiness? What helps you to smile? What helps you to feel safe? What's a place that you can think of now that invites that sense of into your body, into your mind? Maybe it was a beautiful vacation that you once went to. Maybe it's just being around loving friends, loving people. Maybe it's your kids if you have kids. Just thinking, or your partner, it's thinking of something that brings you that sense of, and bringing that into your mind's eye, visualizing it, and getting really creative. Your partner, just visualizing your partner, how they look. And perhaps you guys are on a beautiful beach. Nobody's there. The sand is there and just you. The sand is light, it's like a tannish color. There's seagulls, but they're out in the distance, so they're not bothering you. The waves are just perfect. They're not too big, not too small. The sun is out, but so are the clouds. And so you're not getting burned alive. You're just relaxing, you're chilling. You got some healthy drinks, some snacks, some fruits. And just envision that, visualize that. Take that focus and that attention away from whatever it was that was trying to get you amped up, that was trying to turn this anxiety up a notch. You have the power to bring that down by simply just focusing on something else. Journaling is another tool. Journaling is something that I picked up the middle of 2020, and it's something that has stayed with me since. I don't journal every single day, but I don't let it go too long because I just don't want to, because I just like journaling. Um, Journaling, that is, it's very therapeutic, and it's a powerful way to release, quite literally, release stress. It can ease anxiety. It can ease worry. It can ease obsessive thinking. It can increase your confidence. It can increase your sense of hope. And it can help you to identify specific stressors in your life so that you can make a specific plan of how you can decrease those stressors. Right? So journaling is just another way to connect to yourself, to be one with you. And so it's just like writing yourself a letter. Hey, this is what's going on, Victor. I'll start it off like that. Like, what's up, handsome? How are you? I know how you are because I am you. Haha, I love you. I'll literally write like that. Like, it's silly. So I got a lot on my mind today. And it's kind of like Dear Diary, but it's not a diary. It's allowing yourself to release, because a lot of us have pent up energy, unaware of what it is, why it is, where it's coming from. But this moment of journaling connects us to ourselves so that we can raise those questions. Hey, I've been feeling a lot of anxiety lately. I wonder where some changes, like what has happened in my life lately that this anxiety is coming from. Maybe I know I started a new job and I really don't like it. And the people there suck. They are so mean to me. And home, it's just forget about home. Like I literally never want to go there because there's too much going on. I'm wondering, is this connected to all that? And just really having that moment to connect with yourself. You don't have to have the answers arise, but it's simply releasing the energy. Journaling. Another thing I put was priority restructuring. So like restructuring how and what you prioritize in your life. And so, for an example, let's say you're feeling under stress, right? Due to maybe you're overworked. That's a big one that a lot of us experience. And you just haven't had time to like calm down, slow down, relax, because you've just been on go. Like, I have to do this, I have to make sure I go there, I have this thing I have to plan for, I have to go to work, I'm working 5 days a week. And, so like when you do this tool, when you take on this tool, this technique, what you're allowing for yourself is to reshift your sense of priority, right? And so if you are being overworked, what can you do to alleviate that sense of having to overwork, right? Or maybe you can speak up saying, hey, like, I feel like I'm being overworked here. I have too much on my plate. I can't handle this. Ask for help. You don't have to take on the world by yourself. You don't have to take on everything by yourself. So restructuring how you prioritize in your life, because you don't have to be on go, go, go. You can rest and you can digest. You can't. You are allowed. You have total permission. Another tool is biofeedback. And what this is, biofeedback, when I saw that word, I was like, that's a freaking big ass word. Like, but really all that is getting gadgets for yourself so that you can better regulate your levels of stress, your levels of anxiety. So like the Apple Watch, for instance, it has the heart rate option that you can check your heart rate. And it's something I use often to kind of assess where I'm at. So like the other day I was looking at my heart rate, like the little chart they have on the Apple Watch. And it said at like, I don't know, it was like 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. My heart rate was at like 180. And I was like, what the fuck did I do at 1 o'clock? I was like, oh my God, yeah, I went to the gym. Like, I was working out, so kind of just using that as a tool to gauge what were your levels like throughout the day, and see if you can recall that moment during the day. Like, ooh, my heart rate was really high. I remember I was feeling anxiety at that moment. What was happening at that moment? And you can kind of use these tools to your advantage. Um, something else that I have too is like an automatic blood pressure cuff that I can just kind of assess my blood pressure and keep like, just kind of keep a little pattern of my pressure and how it's been. And if I've noticed that my pressure has been high consistently, I can assess, well, what's been happening in my life lately? How is my diet? What am I consuming? Have I been taking care of myself? Have I been coming back home? And if you don't have an Apple Watch, if you don't have an automatic blood pressure cuff, that's okay. You don't have to do any, you don't have to do that. These are just all tools. You don't have to use all these tools. You can use one and you can stick with that one if it helps. But these are tools so that you can bring into your awareness a whole new world, a whole new way to deal with anxiety, as opposed to maybe how you used to deal with anxiety. There's also checking our heart rate and counting it for a full minute, just kind of playing with the tools that we have available to us at all times. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is another tool that we can use to help us with anxiety. Because with mindfulness, what we're doing is we're using our senses to what is happening here now. So right now, if I'm feeling anxious, let's say I'm like, oh my God, the thoughts coming back up again about my laundry and shit. And I just, oh my God. So I'm feeling my legs shake, right? I'm noticing, I'm using my senses, right? And I'm like, all right, I don't want to feel anxiety right now. Where am I? All right, I'm here. I can hear the sounds. I hear the AC. I can feel the bed. I can feel my legs. I can feel my breath. I taste the food that I had earlier. I'm here now. I'm here now. Here now. It doesn't have to be like that dramatic, but you can bring mindfulness into your life so that you can take back control, right? Because when the anxiety is there, it wants your attention. And so when you bring mindfulness to the anxiety, you give it attention. And with the tools that I've already offered here, you can start applying that through mindfulness, right? So let's say you're mindful of your anxiety. You're like, oh, my heart's racing. But I have a tool. I can breathe. I can breathe into this space in my body. I can check in and invite relaxation there. So my heart's racing. Let's breathe. And there's something to say about that too, because when you take deep, long, controlled breaths like that, you stimulate this nerve in the body, this nerve called the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve activates when you take deep, long breaths, such as like that. That's one way to activate the vagus nerve, which tells your body, hey, 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 bring it down. The kid is safe, or the person is safe. False alarm, because you're taking those deep breaths. You can't take deep, controlled breaths when you're in actual danger, right? Like if there's a big bear, you're not going to be, right? You're like, nah, I need to get the fuck out of here. Like, I got to go. So when you notice the anxiety coming up in the body, you can use this. You can use mindfulness to notice what's happening. And then you can even use your breath as one of your senses to bring it down. Not today, anxiety, not today. It doesn't always work. I mean, there was a couple days ago, my heart was like racing because I smoked a little bit. And I was racing and I was like, oh my God, okay, let me tap into my toolbox. And I tapped in to take deep breaths. And I was like, taking deep, controlled, intentional breaths because it was bothersome. It was like palpitations almost. And it wasn't really working, but I wasn't getting upset about it. I wasn't like, oh my God, it wasn't working, because I understand what that can do. That's only going to enhance the anxiety, and it's going to further induce the pain that I don't want. And so what I kept doing was I just kept breathing. I just kept breathing. And I was sitting in my car, so I got out of my car and I just walked. I walked and I kept breathing. And eventually it subsided. But these aren't like these aren't going to like fix it quickly, right? It takes time, it takes intention, it takes trust. Assertiveness, being assertive, that's another tool that we can implement into our lives. So let's say the stressor that's causing us anxiety is another person. Right? So this is actually twofold. It's assertiveness and boundaries. Right? So when we practice or use the tool of assertiveness, what we do is, so let me think, take our power back, firstly, right? And let's say someone is like in our life, they nag us a lot, they tell us constantly what to do and how to do it and when to do it, and it induces all this anxiety, and it's like, oh my God, I don't even want to fucking do that. Like, using assertiveness, we can say, hey, I don't really like when I'm being told what to do and how to do things. I really want to try to do things on my own. That's being assertive, that's setting a boundary, and that's reclaiming your power. Using assertiveness. Working out, moving your body is another powerful and effective tool to use to help with things, to help move through anxiety. When we move our bodies, we allow the anxiety that's in us already, we allow the energy to move as we move. Because with anxiety, it's like it's there and it's rampant and it's stuck in a specific spot, maybe in our belly, maybe in our chest, maybe in our back, maybe in our jaw, right? And it's just there and it's intense. We can simply move the body. Let the energy flow all through you. Reaching out to a friend, reaching out to a trusted just person that you know that wouldn't judge you, that wouldn't try to give you advice, just simply someone you can reach out to is another effective tool in aiding us in being able to deal with anxiety. So if we're like feeling the anxiety and we're like alone and I just need to talk to somebody. I don't even want to fucking breathe right now. I just want to talk to somebody. You can use that. That's a tool. You can reach out and you can share what you're moving through with another person who has space for you, who's available for you. Reaching out, and if anxiety has been something that you've been dealing with for an immensely long time, reach out to someone that can help you, like that's professional, that can assist you in guidance, like with meditation or therapy or a nurse or a doctor, somebody that you can confide in, that you can find a sense of trust in. Thought stopping. That's another tool that we can use. So oftentimes when we're experiencing anxiety, what's connected to that is the thoughts, just the constant running thoughts. And it's just like, what about this? What about that? What if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? And you didn't do this and you have to do that. And wait, what about this? And it's like, stop. Stop. Just stop. Not right now. Not right now. You can quite literally say this out loud. Stop. I'm okay. I'm okay. Right now, I'm okay. And I'm choosing to not do this right now. Stop. You stop the thoughts in their track and substitute it. Don't just leave it there, right? Because you can't just eliminate one thing and then your mind is going to be like, wait a minute, what are you doing? You got to replace it. And so you're stopping that thought. Now, what are you going to replace it with? Right? Stop. Right? I don't have the space for that right now. I love you. You don't even got to go that deep to say I love you. You can say I'm doing something right now that requires my full attention and my full focus. I understand these thoughts are there, but I can return to it later. Right now is not the time. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. And then the last tool that I have is something that's called systemic desensitization. So it's like you're like quite literally desensitizing yourself. I can't say that word. And how you do this is, so you identify the source of anxiety, whatever it is that's causing you to feel anxious, whether it be the overwhelm, the amount of work that you have to still do, the amount of things you still have to do, the thing that you still want that you didn't get yet, whatever it is, identify the source of the anxiety. And when you feel it in your body, when you start to feel it, like you want to almost create the anxiety for yourself when it comes to this tool. So you want to think about, okay, what makes me anxious? What makes me anxious? You want to get really real with it. And like, all right, that makes me anxious. Allow yourself to feel that anxiety. Let it come up in your body. And when you start to feel it come up, even just a tinge, hit it with a relaxation tool that you just learned here, right? So you can hit it with a deep breath, like, right? Or when the anxiety starts to creep in, you can get up, start moving your body, right? Take your attention away from it, right? When the anxiety creeps in the body, the thoughts are going to get more rampant. You can say, stop, I'm okay, right? And you can practice this tool consistently to a point where you get yourself to a point where you're better able to deal with the stressor so that it's not so debilitating as it used to be, because you've been working at it consistently, little by little. You've been sitting with yourself, inducing the anxiety, and then relaxing yourself right at it. So like you've been playing with it. And then lastly, lastly, it's the last one. Feelings, right, of depression, feelings of anxiety, which can lead to depression, can also lead to suicidal thinking. And so if you ever or currently are experiencing suicidal thoughts, ideations, tendencies, reach out, because you're not alone. Oftentimes it may feel like we're alone, but we're not alone. There's so much love out here. There's so much connection. There's so much help. And so if you've ever experienced that, please seek help. I know that I think is the suicide hotline, they just shifted. There used to be a full number, but now it's a 3-digit number. So the suicide hotline number is now 988. 988, and it connects you immediately to a mental health crisis counselor, somebody that can walk you through those suicidal thoughts if you've experienced them. There's also BetterHelp. BetterHelp, so many people in my life lately have been coming to me telling me that they've tried BetterHelp therapy online and they swear by it. So nobody yet has told me that BetterHelp is ineffective, and they said that it's very affordable. So if therapy is something that you are considering, but maybe you don't have insurance or whatever the case is, you can perhaps look into BetterHelp. From my understanding, they are affordable and they work. As well as me, I do meditation coaching. This is the kind of stuff that I do. I assist in the problem, and together we create a plan, through these body practices that I have available. But those are just a few ways that you can help yourself. And these are all just tools, practices, techniques that you can take on right here, right now, anytime you need it, to help you move through anxiety in a new way. So, yeah. I hope that this served you. I hope that you took something away from this. I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate you for taking this medicine in, because you deserve it. You deserve to experience anxiety with ease. Anxiety doesn't have to be so debilitating. It doesn't have to be so bad, because anxiety is not bad. Oftentimes, it's just the way that we relate to anxiety that feels bad. So, yeah. Thank you so much. Again, I hope that served you. If you have any questions, any feedback, anything at all, you know where to find me. You can leave it in a DM. You can leave it in the event page. This is where you would find the replay in the event page. And yeah, please reach out too. Let me know what you thought about this. All right. Aho. I'll see you guys.
Thank you, Victor.
Yes. Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.